Osai, watashi wa nanu igosu. I am Chris. This is Chris in English. And, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Do you know? If you know what's going on, Sophia, please tell me what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Hey, my mom is in the show. Hello, my mom. If you know what's going on, please let me know, because I don't know what's going on. I stayed up last night, and then I went to sleep, and then I woke back up. I looked at the news. I went back to sleep. I woke back up. I'm nervous, Mom. Yes. Poor Sophia, she's lost. Oh, she's so lost. Well, do not panic yet, my Sophia, my delicious, delicious Sophia. It's not over. It's nowhere. It's not over. In fact, right before I started the show, hey, Nemo. Good to see you, sir. Just before I started the show this morning, I was looking at some last-minute numbers, trying to figure out what's going on. And the truth is, I don't know what's going on. But this is what I think is going on. Mayumi is here. Good to see you. So, what do we know? What do we know? Right now, it looks like, I don't know. This is what I know. Joe Biden currently has 238 electoral points, depending on who you ask. This is from the Associated Press. And according to the Associated Press, Joe Biden has 238 points. Donald Trump has 213 points. So there's nothing decided. Nemo is saying he's not able to work because he has to watch CNN. I know. Just Nemo, call your job. Call your work and just explain. Just say, hey, the United States has not chosen their next president yet. I absolutely cannot go to my job. I know. I hope you guys made some popcorn. You're eating it and you're watching. I don't know. But right now, as far as electoral points go, Joe Biden is in the lead, 238 to 213. It doesn't really mean anything because the winner has to have 270. Must have 270. Remember this all last week, I've been talking to you guys about the swing states. Well, here's what's going on in the swing states. Jamin, good to see you. Georgia is currently undecided, but Donald Trump is leading 50.5% to 48.3%. That looks like it is about 100,000 votes, but there are still 6% of the votes available in Georgia, and all of the available votes are in urban city areas. So the Joe Biden camp is feeling confident about Georgia for some reason. All right. Hey, William, good to see you. I hope you got some sleep last night. Michigan just had a big change. Right now, Joe Biden is leading in Michigan, 49.4 percentage points to 49.2 percentage points. So that one is super close. Nevada has not been decided yet, but right now, Joe Biden is leading 49.2 percentage points to 48.6 percentage points. 67% of the vote has already come in Nevada. That means we're waiting for 33% of the vote. So that could change. That could still change. However, it probably won't because most of the vote that we're waiting for is in urban centers, which favor Joe Biden. North Carolina currently is favoring the President Donald Trump. 50.1 percentage points to 48.7 percentage points. 94% of the vote has already come in. They haven't called it yet. They haven't officially called it, so some people think that could change over to a Biden win. Wisconsin came in recently. In Wisconsin, Joe Biden is currently leading 49.6 percentage points to 48.9 percentage points. 95% of the vote has already come in there. Shane! Welcome back, Shane! Good to see you. Guess what we're talking about? You'll never guess, Shane, what the big topic of conversation is this morning. And the thing is, we don't have an answer yet. We still don't have an answer. Wisconsin, Joe Biden is leading. Arizona, Mom, thank you. The Associated Press has announced Arizona for Joe Biden, 51 percentage points. Yeah. So Arizona goes to Joe Biden. Nice work. My mom, for those of you who don't know, my mom and my dad, they live in Arizona. So good work. Good work, guys. Florida. Florida's always the big trick, isn't it? Florida went to President Trump. They already decided. He won 51.2 percentage points to 47.8 percentage points. Iowa was fool's gold for a while. President won that, 53.2 percentage points. Ohio was fool's gold for the Democrats for a while. The president finally won that, 53.4 to 45.2. And Texas turned out to be fool's gold as well. The president won Texas 52.2 to 46.3. The thing about Texas, I will say, is it shouldn't be that close. If these trends continue, Texas will be a Democrat state at some point in the near future. We'll see. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on. What am I watching today? What am I watching this morning? I am watching Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, with a little bit of an eye on Nevada. It really looks like however Pennsylvania goes, that's how the country will go. Pennsylvania will be the deciding state for who is the next president of the United States. At the moment, President Donald Trump is leading, 54.5 percentage points to 44.4 percentage points. However, only 64 percentage points, 64% of the vote has been turned in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of vote left out there. And the smart money is saying most of those votes are going to go to Joe Biden. Is it enough? Is it enough to catch up and take the lead? Nemo has a question. What happened to all the Latino votes in Florida for Trump? Good question. Florida's a strange state. Florida is maybe the strangest state in the United States. Everybody thinks California is all hippy-dippy, but Florida is where the weird is at. A lot of people who live in Florida are immigrants from Cuba, or descendants of immigrants from Cuba. And that is a very tight-knit group of people who have very specific political goals, which is the overthrow of the Castro regime in Cuba. As a rule, Republican candidates have a very hard line on Cuba. They want nothing to do with Cuba until Cuba just changes its minds and decides to be exactly like the United States. As a general rule, the Democratic Party wants to open the doors to Cuba, encourage them to join us, and therefore encourage them to change. The people in Cuba tend to back the Republicans on this particular issue, and that seems to be what's going on. So when we say the Latino vote in Florida, something that we are learning today is that that's not necessarily the same as the Latino vote in Texas or the Latino vote in Arizona. And certainly it's not the same as the Latino vote in California, which is where I'm from, and I can personally attest. So Nemo, that's what's going on with the Latino vote in Florida. Florida's its own country. I don't know why we ever try to predict Florida. I'm going to be watching Pennsylvania. I think Pennsylvania is really where the decision is going to be made. But I'm not going to take my eyes off of North Carolina. It's closer than it should be. The president is winning, but Joe Biden is doing very well for a state that usually goes red. He could turn that one around. People are still looking at Georgia. Apparently, there's still a lot of vote left out in Atlanta, the Atlanta County region. So that is a place people are holding out hope for the Joe Biden campaign. Yuka in the house. I'm glad to see you today. Guess what we're talking about? And I'm going to keep an eye on Nevada just to see what they decide to do. Did you know that the closest presidential election in the history of U.S. presidential elections was in 1824? That was John Quincy Adams versus Andrew Jackson. John Quincy Adams was a member of the Whig Party, W-H-I-G. The Whig Party was one of the early political parties in the United States. Andrew Jackson was a member of the Democratic Republican Party, which later changed its name to the Democratic Party. So that's the oldest political party still in existence in the United States, is the Democratic Party. Hello, Miss Agnes. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Guess what we're talking about today? The presidential election in 1824, the electoral votes were tied. Totally and completely tied. I didn't get the number of electoral votes. I should have, but there were a lot fewer back then. But they both tied for electoral votes. So when there's a tie in the Electoral College, the decision goes to Congress, to the House of Representatives. And the House of Representatives gets to vote and choose who will be the next president. They voted, and of course, in 1824, they chose Andrew Jackson. No, they didn't. They chose John Quincy Adams, stupid Chris. John Quincy Adams won. Yeah. And many historians believe that it was this election that forced the United States into a two-party partisan system. The reason why we now have a political system where we have these two political parties constantly bickering, constantly fighting, and because of the bickering and fighting, never getting anything done, we can blame the presidential election of 1824 for where we are now. Thank you, 1824. I hope 2020 lives up to your reputation. Happy birthday to Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite was the first news anchor I ever knew. And in my opinion, he might be the best news anchor I have ever seen. I love me some Walter Cronkite. He was the news anchor for the assassination of President Kennedy. He was the news anchor that I remember for the assassination of Martin Luther King. But he's also the news anchor that I remember for the moon landing. Yeah, now remember for these might be an exaggeration because I wasn't alive for any of those except the moon landing. But for the moon landing, I was 9 months old. But I remember Walter Cronkite. So happy birthday, Mr. Cronkite. Happy birthday to Art Carney. Oh yeah, Art Carney was born on this date, 1918. He was a TV actor, an early TV actor, most famous for being in a TV show called The Honeymooners with another famous comedian, Jackie Gleason. Happy birthday, Mr. Art Carney. Happy birthday, Ralph Macchio! That's right, it's Daniel San's birthday. Happy birthday, sir. And please remember on your birthday, please remember, wax on, wax off. Matthew McConaughey, happy birthday, sir. Matthew McConaughey, he was in so many movies that I like. Happy birthday, Mr. Matthew McConaughey. But I would like to wish today's very special birthday. Oh, what do we got here? We watched, my mom's reminding me, we did watch the moon landing together. I know that we did. I don't remember. It's a little fuzzy. Were we watching it with Walter Cronkite? I hope so. Hey, Bob, welcome to the show. I hope you're doing well, sir. Bob, you will never in a million years guess what we're talking about this morning. You'll never guess. It's crazy. Very special happy birthday to Sean Puff Daddy Combs. Puff Daddy's birthday. Now, his real name is Sean Combs. Some people know him as Puff Daddy. Some people know him as P. Diddy. Yeah, it goes back a little ways. But there are some of us who will always know him in our hearts as Mr. Beyonce. Happy birthday, Mr. Beyonce. Born this day, 1969. All right, I know we've got lots of stuff going on today, but I actually do have a word of the day. Sandra, you made it in time for our word of the day. It's true. I am going to teach you a word that you can use in the English-speaking world, and I hope that this is a word that is not true for our election. And is that a clue? It's kind of a clue to what our word of the day might be. Our word of the day today is an adjective. It's a pretty uncommon adjective. I'd say this is at best a once-a-month word. Our word, hey, Hawken, good to see you, man. Welcome to the show. Our word of the day today is imperishable. Yes, imperishable is our word of the day. It is an adjective. Imperishable describes something without end. Something that doesn't end, something that will not die. Imperishable. Here's a sentence for you in case you're interested. Jason from the Friday the 13th movies is scary because of his imperishable stalking of his victims. The stalking of his victims. He goes after his victims. He does not stop. He will not stop until you wrap a chain around him and sink him in the lake, or blow him up with sticks of dynamite. No, apparently those things don't work either. He just comes back to life and goes to space. Fights Freddy Krueger. He's imperishable. Our word of the day. Is it me? Is it me? Or does this election seem imperishable? Imperishable is our word of the day. I-M-P-E-R-I-S-H-A-B-L-E. I-M-P-E-R-I-S-H-A-B-L-E. Imperishable. It's an adjective, and it is your word of the day. Do you have a sentence using... Sophia, she agrees with me. It's a little imperishable right now. Yeah, the election's a little bit imperishable. Do you have a sentence using our word of the day? If you do, please write your sentence. Write it right here in the comment section. If you do, I will see it. I will read it to the world, and you will be internet famous. Imperishable. To recap, where are we right now? Well, let's start with my prediction from yesterday. Those of you who were at the show yesterday, you might remember I made a bold prediction for the electoral points in the election. I boldly and bravely predicted that Joe Biden would win 369 electoral points to Donald Trump's 169. I think I might be a little bit off. And of course, it all started with Florida. Everything starts with Florida. Florida kind of set the pace for it last night when a certain county, Miami-Dade County in Florida, stopped showing up for Joe Biden. We kind of knew that Florida was going to be off the table. And then things started coming off the table wholesale. But did they? When I went to bed last night, I did get a little bit of sleep last night. Georgia was in President Trump's column, but right now it's undecided. When I went to bed last night, North Carolina was firmly in the president's column. But it seems to be an open state, at least right now. When I went to bed last night, both Michigan and Wisconsin were leaning in the president's favor. Right now, both of those states, Michigan and Wisconsin, are leaning in Joe Biden's favor. So, it's not over. It's not a done deal. There is a lot of change that's still happening, a lot of change that we're waiting for. And right now it's going to come down to Pennsylvania. I keep saying that because it's true. Pennsylvania is likely going to decide this. The problem is, Pennsylvania has a law that says ballots can be mailed in as long as they have yesterday's date on the envelope. They can be received until Friday, Thursday or Friday, 3 days after the election. So they can keep counting those until then. Right now, only 64% of the vote is in Pennsylvania. So that will change. Something will change there. Either the president will get a lot more votes, or Joe Biden will get a lot more votes. The Joe Biden team seems very confident that Pennsylvania will go in their column. So that's what's happening. That's what I'm looking at today. What are you guys looking at? Who has questions? Anybody out there have questions about what's going on? I will say this. I will say this. I'm a little nervous. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. A lot of people in the United States are a little nervous. But this is kind of what people predicted. My prediction, 300 plus electoral points, that was not mainstream. What is happening now is what most people said would happen. It would come down to these swing states: Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan. And guess what? It's coming down to states. A lot of people said it's going to come down to Pennsylvania. And guess what? It's coming down to Pennsylvania. So, a lot of people said Joe Biden would win this race. So far, what a lot of people have said is coming true. Maybe this last piece of information will also become true. We have to wait. We have to be patient. We have to see. You know who's not patient? President Trump. President Trump last night, he came out and he kind of announced that he won the election. Presidents are not allowed to do that. Candidates are not allowed to do that. It's the states. Each state is going to finish counting their votes, and when they finish counting the votes, they're going to say how many votes each candidate received. So don't worry about what people are saying right now. There's no decisions that have been made as far as the grand election. 238 electoral points currently for Joe Biden. 213 electoral points currently for Donald J. Trump. In raw numbers, that's 69,460,789 points for Joe Biden. He has the most actual votes, as well as currently having the most electoral votes. President Trump has 67,001,620. So, the president is roughly 2 million votes behind. But of course, we don't choose a president by raw vote tally. We choose our president by the Electoral College. I don't know. I wish I could tell you guys, oh, this is definitely going to happen. This is definitely going to happen. This is definitely going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that we're going to be watching this all day today. I don't have any more official show for us right now, but don't be surprised if you see me show up a little bit later to give you guys an update about what's going on. If you guys have any questions, of course, please ask the questions. You can always send me a comment when this video is posted. You can write a comment there. You can send me an email, chris@ChrisinEnglish.com. You can send me a message at Instagram. I want to hear from you guys. I could sure use some good news right now. Let's see. That's what I got. That's what I got for people. Anybody have any questions or any such thing? All right. Well, I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys a little bit later on today, and I'll definitely see you guys again tomorrow morning. Hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be back on a kind of regular schedule. I'll have some vocabulary, I'll have some idioms, maybe a little bit of grammar, maybe some vocabulary for the election, and maybe some good news about the future of my country. Until then, I hope everybody remembers that you are a great class. I voted for all of you. My name is Chris, and I love you all. Go away.